Okay, before we leave the library homepage, I want to show you OneSearch. It's a way of searching about 90% of the resources that we have in the library. It's not as precise as using individual databases, which we will talk about later, but it is good as either a first step or if in the databases you're having trouble finding what you're looking for. Okay, the first thing you want to make sure you do before you start any search, whether it's in OneSearch or in a database, is to select good keywords. Let's say that we are interested in the digital divide and how it affects college students. We hear quite a bit about how the K-12 students are being affected, but are college students being affected in the same way? So we might start with we would not want to put how are college students being affected by the digital divide. Instead, we want to break that down into key concepts. So one of the concepts is digital divide. And then we would put and college students. So you don't put a whole question in there. Instead, what you put is just the key elements. And this is true regardless of what your topic is. You may have to frequently go back and revise your keywords, and you'll see as we go through the search that there's other tools, other techniques you can use to improve your search. So we're going to start with a search, digital divide and college students. And we are going to search everything. And if you notice, it's asking me to sign in up here, which is always a good thing to do, so that you can have all the resources and get to see all of the tools. Okay. So we get 66,648 results. Now, if you'll notice, I typed "and" in all caps. That's so that it differentiates from the word "and," and it's just a good way of making your search more precise. To make my search even more precise, I'm going to put digital divide in quotes. And what this does is it says I want the phrase digital divide, okay, to be looked up as a phrase and not separated into the individual terms. And we'll search again, and this should reduce the number significantly. And it did. It took it from 66,000 down to 21,000. It is still way too many results. And there are several ways to filter results using the OneSearch. The first one we're going to look at is date. So it says here that there was articles published or resources published back to 1800. My guess is that that's a little bit artificial, but we're going to change this to 2000 and update it. And that doesn't reduce it much because, in fact, the digital divide hasn't been studied until the last 10 or 20 years by and large. The next thing we're going to look at is that we are going to look at peer-reviewed journals. Now, we could also look at books and book chapters, which are very handy. And in fact, let's just take a quick look at books. Academic books, which is what the library buys, are a good way to get an overview of your topic. And here we have a 2013 book, The Digital Divide, the Internet and Social Inequality in International Perspective. And it's available online. So it's an electronic book, which we've been doing a lot more purchasing of since the beginning of the pandemic. And all you have to do is click here, and you can get to the book, and you can search the book, you can read it by chapters, etc. We have one from 2003 down here, Gender and the Digital Divide, 2006, 2009. Here we have Crossing the Bridge of the Digital Divide, a walk with global leaders. So there's a number of books, and I strongly encourage you to take a look at those. Not only are they going to give you a good overview, but they will also give you references to other resources.
We do have a way of checking out books for curbside checkout, and we're in the process of installing lockers. So I'll include that information separately on how to do that. To get rid of the books filter, and I noticed that somehow the date filter went back. It didn't stay. Usually the date filter is sticky. So we're back to our 21,000, and now we're going to go to peer-reviewed journals. And that takes us down to 6831. I'm also going to put college students in quotation marks. Anytime there's a commonly used phrase, it's okay to use it in quotation marks. And that takes us down to 5,600. And again, the date is not staying, remaining sticky. That surprises me. Okay, so we're now at 5,500. Now the next thing I want to show you is how to use the subject filter. Okay? What the subject filter does is it tries to make your search results more precise by finding the articles that are about certain terms as opposed to articles that just mention terms. So I'm going to click college students, and I'm going to click the digital divide. Now I could also click internet, I could click higher education, information technology. There's probably others that I could, but I'm going to start with just those two. All right, and that's going to greatly reduce my results, and it takes it down to 1,000. Now most of the now we have to go back and click peer-reviewed journals again, and that takes us down to 643. Most of these, the full text is going to be available, but if you come across one where it's not available, it's very easy to get the article. We have a free service called Beach Reach. So I'm going to look at this one, heterogeneity within homogeneity. And if you go, you can look for an open access copy, not a bad idea. But if you can't find one, you can request the article from Beach Reach. It says that it's 2 to 5 days. You have to log in. Generally, in my experience, even during the pandemic, it's been 24 to 48 hours. That's good to know is that you can get citations, APA citations for, and you have to click on APA. You can get APA citations for these that are computer generated, so you need to make sure you fix them, such as this one, which is really has a problem in terms of capitalization, but at least it's a help to get you started. You could also email the articles to yourself. And one thing that you'll see on the library website as we're going through all of our various videos is this Ask a Librarian here. We have librarians, there are librarians available 24 hours a day for live chat. During normal West Coast working hours, that will be a Cal State Long Beach librarian. Otherwise, it'll be a librarian from part of our global consortium. So in a moment, we will start looking at databases.